What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for very weird start to the daily news show where we're going to talk about Xavi Simons because it's been out there, and I will explain why it's out there and why for now we should definitely ignore it. But there's a hint that there potentially could be a mystery hint, and that's kind of linked to people speculating on, well, Xavi Simons transfers. For example, we have a Thuram update, a good one. And we have some very interesting news surrounding McKennie, but especially Federico Gatti, which I'm baffled about. But before we get into it, as always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Okay, so first off, Xavi Simons. The name has been circulating on Twitter. First, because Eduardo Meca put that out there, who, by the way, is not a source, does good job on Juventus, but he's not an insider. I know he's putting stuff out there, and maybe he got something right in the past, but the Xavi Simons links got worse the following days because Huijsen is being linked to a PSG, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. And Mirko Di Natale said that the club is looking to revamp their attack. Keane is out. They want to move out Milik as well. We're linked to Morata, who's liked, but he said, I think Giuntoli has a mystery name or a name out there in the media that nobody knows about. And people are already fantasizing. I've seen Donny Olmo link. I've seen Xavi Simons links right now. I've seen people talking about Grealish and whatever. And it's all a dream right now. It's 100% a dream. If the main targets are Colt Miners and Calafiori, and Xavi Simons is definitely not an option. When good sources are talking about Jadon Sancho on loan being a viable option for the club, then Xavi Simons is not an option who will command a big fee. He will. Even a Dani Olmo, they will command massive fees. Massive fees we're not willing to spend in that position right now. We're willing to spend on Calafiori and Colt Miners, because if we're willing to spend on that money, the club just brought in Zirkzee and would have pleased Thiago Motta so much, instead of letting the opportunity slip by and let him go to Man U. So is there a mystery name? Yeah, because I think we don't know everything what Giuntoli wants to do. We have a good, clear plan. I get it. We have a big picture of it. But it's a bit too easy to just suggest it's going to be Morata, because that's just out there. It's very easy, quote unquote, an easy deal to do. But I have a feeling there will be a mystery name, but it's not going to be one of these players. It will be amazing, but it wouldn't make sense, because if you want to spend on Calafiori and Colt Miners, it feels like it's going to a loan deal or a bridge gap again in those positions, depending on what's going to happen with Chiesa and obviously Sule. But I didn't want to talk about, because it's been out there and it's good to dream, but right now it's completely unrealistic right now, as of today. So let's move on to what is realistic, and that's Suram. And the latest updates from Di Marzio saying that Nice has set the price at 20 million. Juve aims to meet that fee with a lower amount. They want to spend between 15 and 60 plus 4 to 5 billion bonuses, which we discussed already during the live. Go watch that as well, where it's like, okay, does he play this amount of game? Do we win something? Then you get the bonuses, and the club is happy to pay that. I think they will find agreement in between. I think next week that's a deal they will try to wrap up, especially because we got that Keane deal done very quickly, which is definitely going to help Giuntoli to close the deal for Thuram in the following week. I think the week that comes, it will be like, yeah, it's a done deal. It's just signing the papers and get it done, because he wants Juve. He made a decision. He's not signing a new deal, so he needs to move on. It's now figuring out what you're going to do with it. 4 or 5 million difference, basically, because Nice want that 20 up front, and the club is saying, we'll pay you 20, but 25% of that, 4 or 5 million, will be through bonuses and not straight up cash. But again, we talked about Thuram. It's a good signing. If he signs, we will go more in depth into what he could bring to this team. But for now, it's a deal that's moving fast. It's a good opportunity. The club is taking it, and I like the way the club, Giuntoli, is moving at this moment in time. And here is the Huijsen news we've been talking about, or I mentioned with the Xavi Simons news. He's gone, or the club is willing to move on Dean Huijsen. I will read out the report first. It's from Romano. He's saying Dean Huijsen is still expected to leave Juve in the next days. Juve's price tag will be around 25 plus add-ons. It's not a lot, it's less than I was expecting. There's interest from several clubs with Juve ready to sell, waiting for the best proposal. You will sign at least one more center back, obviously. But is it a mistake to sell Huijsen? I think it is. And again, if we sign Calafiori, you move out Huijsen, nobody will lose sleep over it. I'll put it that way. And I will be extremely happy. But I don't want to lose Dean Huijsen because he has a lot of potential. And I'm thinking about the future. And when I talk about the future, I mean the following 2 seasons. Because I don't believe Giuntoli is happy with Danilo's contract. I don't believe he's going to be here long-term, 2 years. I think we will move on from him. Bremer has a release clause. Bremer is 27. Bremer will be 28 next season. Which I couldn't believe, by the way. But I was watching Sky Italia and they said he's 27. He will be 28. I was actually shocked. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know he was that quote-unquote old. I wasn't expecting that. He has a release clause. He made it publicly open and clear that he loves to play the Premier League one day. If next season somebody's going to trigger that release clause and it's a half-decent team, I don't see Bremer refusing that, saying, I want to stay. That's the short-term future, where next season you can be in a situation where Bremer will be gone because of the release clause and Danilo will just be done in terms of financially for the club. And then you're like, okay, we got Calafiori, but now you have Gatti, Calafiori, and what? And you need to rebuild that again. That's why I'm saying a mistake. And on top of that, 25 mil, PSG is the main candidate right now. There's Newcastle, Dortmund, but PSG are very interested. You should be extracting more money from PSG. I don't care that he only played 10 games for Roma. You should be extracting more money from PSG, in my opinion. But it's over for Dean Huijsen. The club is moving on from him, and it is disappointing. If you move on Huijsen and Junior and Barnicea and potentially Miretti and maybe Sule, then yes, the next gen has worked because it funded your rebuild. I get it, but it's still it leaves a sour taste in your mouth, because is that really what you want to do with the next gen? Do you not really want to help and promote these players and get the best out of them at one point? Not all of them, but it feels like the crop of players that came out of the next gen is not going to happen anytime soon. And it feels like, oh man, if we do this with this crop of player, then what are we going to do if one player comes out? So let's see. But for now, it feels like it's over for Dean Huijsen. Now the McKennie update. It's interesting because McKennie has options, and after he said no to Aston Villa, I thought he would have no options, and I'm being very honest. I thought the options would be MLS. But Alfredo Padula is saying that Mourinho has shown interest in McKennie, who wants to take his time deciding what his next move will be. No contact have been made between Fenerbahce and Juve. The valuation is fixed between 40 and 50 million plus bonuses. That's about the money the club needs to be clear on the books. We're selling players who do not have much of a value. The players who won out. That's why everybody was disappointed that deal with Douglas Luiz fell through. We're not getting a lot of money for these players. Giuntoli is just trying to get these players with, clear out the books and fresh slate, and the following seasons you can rebuild and have some breathing space as well to actually move on. Will he join Fenerbahce? I have no clue. If he said no to Premier League football, Aston Villa, top 4 finish, Champions League football, then I have no idea if he's going to join Fenerbahce. But to be honest, I don't know what the options are. Cincinnati showed interest, but again, if it's not going to get better than Aston Villa. Actually, it's not even getting close to better to Aston Villa. So I'm not sure what his game plan is. What is clear is that Giuntoli is like, you're done. You need to move out. Figure it out. So let's see if it will be Fenerbahce or Cincinnati or somebody else. And to wrap this one up, it's Federico Gatti. And this news did shock me. It's from Alfredo Padula. I will read it out first. He's saying that Gatti has no intention of leaving. Juve unless an irresistible offer comes along. Juve doesn't intend to let him go either, as he's highly valued not only for his tactical versatility but also for the energy and the strong loyalty to the club. There has been some interest from English clubs, with Newcastle leading the charge, but these advances have been rejected. I refuse to believe that. I do. Nothing against Gatti. I don't think he will be the guy we actually need long term. That's just me. And that's just a feeling I have. I've not seen enough to say, yeah, he's going to be the main guy. I can be completely wrong. But if an offer comes in of 25, 30 million, which was a talk, I will be absolutely stunned if Giuntoli doesn't push him out. Or like tells him, okay, you might need to leave because this is a good offer. I will absolutely be shocked at loss for words. That will mean he and Malta see something in him that I don't see and maybe never will see. But man, rejecting almost 30 million euro, if that's the offer, and that was a rumored offers that could be coming in, that's big. That's a big decision for a player who me personally hasn't convinced, And he had good moments, but overall, I don't think he is the type of player who's going to be the main guy for the next, I don't know how many years for this club. So I will be absolutely stunned if Giuntoli says no to a big offer. But only time will tell. The center back is a problem. If you move on Dean Huijsen, you need to think about the future. So maybe they view him as a future player, or next season they will try to move him on. I have no idea. But the center back is a very delicate position that can switch really quickly, like I explained earlier in the video. But that's it. That's it for the daily. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like the video, subscribe, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.